Hey guys, I just wanted to show you what I did, and I hope that you already saw me unbox the Spiritual Synchronicities Oracle and the Astro Tarot Symbolism Oracle. Because if you did, then you'll know that I decided that this was a customizable set of decks, and I made two different decks out of them. Now, I did this because I had a feeling that there were certain cards that I was going to want to see more, and since all of these decks are able to be used as a reference guide or as flashcards, I figured that combining them in a way that suited me wasn't too crazy. And so what I did was I made the deck that I'm probably not going to use as frequently, since I will most likely be doing love letters with these, and I wanted the ones that were the most visually appealing, but also the ones that were going to bring up the least amount of analytical questions in my brain in particular while doing a message. And so I knew that if I was seeing something like an astrology sign, I am not an astrologer. I think that my brain would just go way too much into overdrive trying to figure it out. And also, as I've done the love letters, I've noticed already that when the numbers come through, it's not very helpful. Like, yeah, there's sometimes some numerology there, but sometimes my brain thinks there's more to it. And so I decided that since I was going to use these mostly for love letters, that I would put aside a deck that I probably wouldn't use as much. And in this deck, I have separated out all the instruction cards and then some of the reference cards that I think visually I just won't need. And I've got some of the shapes, I've got the numbers, I've got the astrology cards, I've got some of the symbolism cards, the planets, okay, and the astrology, and then I've got some of the animal cards and some of the colors. And so these were cards that I just didn't feel drawn to for the love letters. And so now I am going to put these kind of like in their own little box. And then whenever I need this deck, I can pull it out and use it. But I think that I'm going to end up using this deck that I felt drawn to make more often. And so the first thing in this one is these really beautiful major arcana cards. I freaking love these cards. Like, this is, and there's just so much in them. There's so much in the symbolism. So I'm super excited about it. All right, so we've got the major arcana cards are going to go in. And then these are the reference cards that I thought would be really, really helpful during a love letter. And really, I just kind of separated these out intuitively. I have done this once before. I had a friend who had made a deck and there was a lot of cards, and it was actually really like difficult for me to even hold it. It was so many cards. And I don't know, something in me was just like, you need to separate these out by energy. And I ended up breaking it into 3 decks, and they just make more sense for me when I'm using them. And so I don't know, ever since then, I've kind of been a little bit more open. And since these decks are from the same creator, from the same company, they're the same texture, same size, same scheme, basically, I felt like this shouldn't be a problem. All right, so what else do we have? Then I also did some of these animal cards. And here's the cool thing. These animal cards are in the Astro Tarot Symbolism. So these are actually animals that you find in the Rider-Waite Tarot. That's why there's even this salamander, all right? So I thought that was really cool. This is not just about learning random animals. This is about helping all of us who are watching tarot readings or doing tarot to have a deeper understanding on kind of a more natural level, things that just come to us without us having to critically think about it. And then here are, well, these just flipped. These are the element cards, and then these are color cards and a little bit of textures. And let's see, what else? These are the seasons. This is weather. Some of my favorites here. Even though some of these newer cards I got are giving these a run for their money. These are the tarot suits, and this is a mix of some of the planets. This is like the equinoxes and solstices, solar and lunar eclipse. the Sun card. I don't know, felt drawn to these for some reason. This is the, what, master numbers? There's something about this. I love this card. It's so pretty. It looks like a picture of somebody's house. And then here are some of the OG original symbolism cards from that spiritual synchronicities deck. Oh, how funny. All right, so let's see. Will it fit? Oh my gosh, look at my new deck. I'm super excited. I wish every deck came like that, where you had like 150 cards or something, and then you got to pick which ones you like. So it's a little bit tight in here. I might have trouble taking them out, but whatever. So now I have the Astro Tarot deck and the Spiritual Synchronicities decks. Both of these decks are here, but I have created something I think that's going to work more for me out of these two. And the really cool thing about this now is if there's ever a point where I want to study some of the ones that I feel like I won't use as much, well, now I already have them, right? I've put them to the side mainly because I know my brain might get stopped up or caught up in trying to like answer these or figure out what the message might be if I see some of this symbolism, like the astrology, or I won't say so much the numbers. I'm pretty strong with the numerology more than anything. But I think this would be a great study deck for me. So I could pull these out and use these as flashcards whenever I need them to kind of help me get myself going, right? Plus, if there are any reference cards in here, I could also pull these out and use them in a reading if I wanted to kind of spruce up some of the readings that I'm doing. But the truth is, I have been focusing a bit more on offering love letters, as it seems like that's what people are more interested in. And so I think it's good that I went through and separated these out. If not, then I would have been using two different decks or combining them in a way that was a little bit unwieldy, right? So I think this was the best option for me, and I highly recommend that you get both of these decks and do the same thing that I did to kind of help you with your tarot practice, but also to give you some really, really beautiful cards to work with. So I hope this has been helpful. I'll leave all the information about where to find these decks on makeplayingcards.com, Etsy, or the Ascension Spiritual Coaching site. All right, I'll talk to you later. If you want to see me use these, make sure you check out Awakening Divine. And you'll also see the love letters on Reunion This Lifetime, Passion's Path, and there are some on Awakening Divine from time to time. Talk to you later. Love you. Peace.